Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz Video Recap. Today is Friday, January 27th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, there were some discussions around the Google update earlier this week. Doesn't seem to be impacting that many people. It might have been just a tweak and went back and forth. It's unclear, but there was definitely lots of chatter and also lots of tools that were showing the update that happened. But again, I don't think it was that significant, so I don't think you have to worry that much. So no worries. Google Search Console now has these new warnings. These new warnings at the top of certain reports. So remember, back in November, we reported that the Google Search Console is updating and performing infrastructure updates, and some of those reports might be impacted. Well, now Google's actually posting these warnings over here. Let me zoom in a little bit. These warnings over here, which says January 22nd, Search Console performed an infrastructure update that may cause a change in your data. And learn more. And that learn more links to the data data anomalies page. And because of that, it shows more information about those infrastructure updates. The issue is those notes about infrastructure updates was from November and said back then that it's going to last about a month or so. And now we're already at the end of January. So I guess they're still doing these infrastructure updates. And if you do see your reports have fluctuated, like your link report, your structured data reports, your HTML suggestion reports, and so forth, that's because of these infrastructure updates. Looks like they're pushing them out, and that's a good thing. Google said the site command is not ranked in any defined order. Usually they rank the homepage first. It used to be where Matt Cutts said years and years ago that they used to rank it in PageRank order and some other factors. And now John Mueller is saying there's no really defined order in the site command, so don't worry about that. Google said AMP is definitely not a ranking factor, which they've said before. But if you use AMP as your canonical version, your main version of your website, so you build your website and it's only an AMP version, or you tell Google, use the AMP version as the canonical version of your website, Google will use that use the content and the page and everything on that page as signals. I mean, it'll use use your desktop web page as signals, your mobile web page as signals. If you say use my AMP pages for the ranking signals, it will use that. But AMP as a ranking signal itself is not something that Google says it uses. Of course, it only shows up the AMP carousel if it is AMP. Gary from Google basically said that they're done numbering Penguin releases and updates, which they said before. He said, we're not planning more numbered releases for Penguin, which, again, he said before back with the Penguin 4.0 release, he said, we're not going to comment on future refreshes around Penguin. So him saying that is just the same thing. And he also said that they're going to be transparent about big substantial changes to Penguin, which is kind of contradictory to we're not going to comment about future Penguin refreshes. So they haven't really confirmed any Penguin refreshes since the 4.0 last year, I believe in November, I believe. So we'll see if they do. There hasn't been any confirmations, and I don't know if there'll be any more updates around that, but they're done numbering them at least. Google said when they try to push out new algorithms these days, they try to do a global push. With Panda back when they launched it back in 2011, it only released to the English US results, and that's because Panda was specifically around content and language. So it's hard to do an algorithm for English and then do another one for Japanese and whatever, so they had to do different releases around that. But when it comes to Penguin, it's more about links, and that's not really language specific. So that being said, Google again said they try to release their algorithms globally now, which is, of course, nice, I guess. Google is testing they're testing this new design box layout. A lot of people are seeing it again. They tested it a lot in 2013 and a lot in 2016, and now they're testing that again in 2017. So let me show you what that looks like. You zoom in. If it loads. Come on. This is the problem with doing live broadcast. Things just don't always load right away. I guess it's a very high-res screenshot. So you can see here it's boxed in, boxy, and as I scroll, you'll see everything is really boxy. Box. And Google's been testing this a lot in 2016, and it looks like they're going to continue to test it going forward. Google said with the ad side, they disabled 1.7 billion ads over 2016. They completely suspended and removed and kicked out 200 publishers. They had 68 million ads for pharmaceuticals that were just not approved, 80 million ads for deceiving and shocking users, 5 million ads for payday loans, 112 million ads to trick to click, and 1,300 accounts disabled for tabloid cloaking. So Google's been busy banning ads, so that's pretty cool. Google is testing a green outlined ad label. So of course the ad label changed from yellow to green last year. And now Google's testing, as you can see over here, a outlined green label. Not only that, they are testing a black ad label. Let me show you that one. So here is the black ad labels. And they are testing orange ad labels. Let me show you that. Orange ad labels, pretty interesting. So they keep testing these different ad labels, different colors, and we'll see what they go with. Google is also testing, wrong one. Google is also testing horizontal scrollable local pack ads. So let me show you what that looks like. Zoom in over there, you'll see ads for Subaru dealers, and you'll see there's this 3-pack here. Map, result, the location, the call extension, and you can actually scroll 1, 2, 3 to see more of them. Scrollable ad labels. Google's really testing the ad side, doing lots of tests in early 2017, at least that we're following. Bing Ads, on the other hand, has built a way to automatically import your Google AdWords, like an automated sync where it actually pulls your Google Ads campaigns, updates Bing Ads to show the ads. So it's a good move from Bing. Google Hotel Search Results is testing pricing trends and top rated data. So here's the pricing trends over here by day of the week. And also they're testing these rated top percent of all hotels. So lots of tests going on, as I said. Google Maps is showing today's label, what's going on today in certain locations. Let me quickly show you that. Lots of things going on. So you see it's a pink label over here. And you can see it says today over here. Same thing over here. It says today over here on the bottom corner over there. So Google's doing a lot of tests on local and ads and so forth. Google launched this week also book previews in mobile search. So it used to be just on desktop. You can actually now do a search on mobile, click book preview, and it would actually show you a preview of the book in a nice mobile view. Google is asking searchers about their trips. So if you do a search for a local event, they're going to ask you to rate it. So let me zoom in a little bit. See over here saying which of the following best describes your trip. And it's pretty cool that Google's actually doing that. Let me zoom in a little bit more. You can see it a little bigger here, which is nice. Google has a new Easter egg. If you do a search for spinner, S-P-I-N-N-E-R, you'll see a spinner show up in Google. Here's an example of it. And it'll just do a spinner, and you could do a bet on that. They actually give you from between 2 and 20 spinner options. So if you want to play with that, you can. It's a pretty cool Easter egg. This really reminds me of the roll your dice and flip a coin. Amit Singal, who was the former head of Google Search, who left Google Search about a year ago to do charitable work, said he's done with that. His company, the organization is running itself, is doing well. I'm going to go to Uber because Uber needs help. So he's actually moving on to Uber, which is interesting to me. I'm not going to go into more detail on that. I wrote about it in my article. And thank you to Gary and Nathan from Google for bringing back the Google Dance. So it's on March 22nd. You have to go to XMX West to be part of it, and it's going to happen again. So thank you very much for bringing it back. Again, you have to go to XMX, and it's happening at the Googleplex. So that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz Video Recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search and Roundtable at SERoundtable.com over the past week. Today again is Friday, January 27th. Everyone, thank you so much for listening live, and for those who are watching later, everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.